Hey, how's it going? Zach D Productions here, and I'm here for a list video for you guys. So for this list, I'll be going over my personal top 10 favorite songs from heavy metal legends, Queensryche. Queensryche is a band that started around the early 80s with their vocalist Jeff Tate, and they've had him in the band for a number of years until they got to the early 2010s when they decided to remove Jeff Tate from Queensryche due to some conflict within the band. And then they got Todd, who is their current vocalist now, and I believe they've released 4 albums so far with him in the band. So there is that. Now, I'm actually of the opinion that Queensryche has only really had 5 to 6 good albums, and that's basically about it. And that is, of course, the first 5 to 6 albums from Queensryche, which I think a lot of people can agree with, at least to an extent. I think a lot of people can at least agree that they weren't really that good for a while, particularly when they got to the early 2000s and even some of the 2010s material. I think a lot of people walked away from this band around the Here and the Now Frontier and the Q2K era. Not that I don't understand, because this was around the time when Queensryche started to put less effort, you could say. This was when their music started to sound a little more uninspired, you could say. Like, they started to switch gears. It just seemed like they were taking a look at what was going on in the grunge movement and taking a little bit from that, more alternative stuff as well. And this was around the time when Chris DeGarmo left the band, and that was something else too. And it's basically just been downhill from there. Their music just wasn't as good as it used to be at the time. So again, I do think that Here in the Now Frontier and Q2K was when a lot of people walked away from Queensryche. Some people might have even walked away during the Empire era because, that's when they went commercial, which, apparently that's a bad thing. Some people might have even walked away during the Promised Land era, which, what do I think of that album, Promised Land? I actually like that album. It's not my favorite from the band, but I do like it quite a bit, though. But I think Here in the Now Frontier was definitely the final straw for a lot of bands. If not that album, then Q2K was. Particularly around this era was when a lot of people decided, yeah, no, I'm done with Queensryche. And I know that a lot of people do say that Todd Torre was the saving grace for Queensryche. He was the guy that basically saved this band. He got this band back on the right track. Because of Todd Torre, Queensryche is releasing good music again. Now, I don't mind Todd Torre as a vocalist. I do think that he is a talented guy as a vocalist. But I'm not really too big of a fan of him personally, because I do think that Todd Torre is a leftist wackadoodle, at least based on the stuff that I've seen on his social media and some of the ridiculous things that I've seen him post and some of the outrageous things that he says and what he posts and everything. Which is weird because, there's never any controversy surrounding this, but, when someone from Skillet, for example, like John Cooper, comes out and says something about, his particular views, then it's considered controversy. Then it's considered a problem. But when Todd Torre does it, no one bats an eye about it. It's almost like there's certain people that believe that there's only one right opinion allowed. Oh wait, that is exactly what they believe. Screw these people. So I'm not really a big fan of Todd Torre, if you couldn't tell. Some of you already know that. So yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of him personally, but I can't deny that he is a good singer. He is definitely a talented singer. He definitely has some really good range to his voice and everything. So there's that. Now, for this top 10 list of Queensryche songs, I particularly stuck with the original era, basically the classic era of Queensryche, and this list is in no particular order either, so just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first song I'm going to go over here is Warning, which is from the album from the same name, The Warning, the title track, basically. Definitely one of their best songs. I mean, this song definitely rings Iron Maiden. Like, you can tell that during this time, you know, Queensryche was taking a look at what bands like Iron Maiden were doing, and Judas Priest, and even Black Sabbath to some extent, like, just to some extent, maybe, but mostly Iron Maiden. I mean, you definitely hear a lot of Iron Maiden influence in Queensryche's early work. So I really do like the song Warning. It's really fun and catchy, really good and fun to listen to. Next, we got Eyes of a Stranger from Operation Mindcrime. Operation Mindcrime is probably my favorite Queensryche album. And Eyes of a Stranger, honestly, if I had to narrow this list down to a top 3, this would definitely be within the top 3. Might even be number 1. Like, if you had to make me choose my all-time favorite Queensryche track, it would honestly be Eyes of a Stranger. I absolutely love this song. Jeff's vocals are insane in this song. This song definitely shows the range that he has in his voice and the emotion that he has, that he can really put on as a vocalist. Great guitar work. Fantastic guitar work. The solo work is great as well. I've always really enjoyed Eyes of a Stranger. Ever since I first became a fan of this band, I've always really enjoyed this song, and I still enjoy this song. I think it's great. It'll probably never get old. So next, we got Silent Lucidity from their album Empire. Empire is, of course, the album where you could say they went a little more commercial within their sound. This has always been one of my personal favorite songs from that album, and of course, one of my favorite Queensryche songs. Always really loved this song. It's basically a ballad, and I do think it is one of their best ballads as well. This song is really packed with some emotion. That is something that I do have to say. I think this song also has some great soft guitar melodies, which I really do dig. A great song for sure. Next, we got No Sanctuary from The Warning. This song is also kind of like a ballad. I think it has a really cool sound to it. It has this sort of like haunting sound to it, which I really do like. So, No Sanctuary, I've always really liked this song. Definitely a great one. Next, we got Deliverance, also from The Warning album. This song has some great guitar work, along with some great vocal work from Jeff. I basically have no complaints with this track. I think it's great. So next, we got Revolution Calling from Operation Mindcrime. A really great song. It's really fun and catchy, and definitely one of the highlights on Operation Mindcrime for sure. So next, we got Walk in the Shadows from Rage for Order. Rage for Order was actually the first Queensryche album I've ever checked out, actually. And this was one of my introduction tracks to Queensryche, so of course I gotta have it on the list. This is a great, fun, catchy song, and I think it's really good, really good. Next, we got Spreading the Disease from Operation Mindcrime. Definitely a great song. This was really one of the first songs that I fell in love with whenever I first listened to Operation Mindcrime. I think that this song has some really strong drum work in particular, and I can really say that about the rest of the album. I mean, the entire instruments, the work behind Jeff Tate's vocals, the instruments, it all just works for this album. I think it all sounds really good. And that's one of the things that does stand out on this track, the drum work, and even Jeff's vocals, really strong, really good. Next, we got another song from Operation Mindcrime, Speak. Another highlight from that album that's very memorable and also pretty catchy as well. Alright, so lastly, we have another song from the Empire album, and that is Another Rainy Night Without You. Definitely a great song. Definitely very commercial sounding. Definitely very, I don't want to say easy listening, but like very accessible, you could say. Like, I think if you're someone who's like only into like 80s rock, like you're not really into metal, but you'd like to look into metal, I think that this would be a great like introduction track, because this is very like 80s rock friendly. So yeah, Another Rainy Night, it is catchy, it is memorable, so yeah, it has some great hooks and melodies and things like that, so yeah. Definitely a great track. So let me know what you think. That is my list of my top 10 favorite Queensryche songs. Let me know what you think. What did you think of this list? And what are your favorite tracks from Queensryche? Feel free to let me know. So with that said, Thank you for watching. Have a good one.